Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back here with Maritza Coscarelli. So excited to have her back. She's an amazing coach, transformational keynote speaker, wife, mom, beautiful lady. And she's living the life in Palm Beach. But it wasn't always that way because she had to work hard at it and she needed a lot of guidance, which I think a lot of us can benefit from, learn from, and really start living our best life. So welcome to the show, hon. How are you?
I love that. I'm fantastic right now. And you know what? I'm going to be fully transparent. About 3 hours ago, I wasn't fantastic. So I thought that was a great place to start today.
Sure.
Because when you hear from a lot of coaches, it seems a little bit like toxic positivity. What that means is like happy all the time, positive all the time, superhuman. And the truth of the matter is, we all wake up a little cobwebby. Sometimes I call it. It's like you have to clear that. You ever walk into a cobweb by mistake, like coming out of the house? Anybody ever do that? Am I the only one?
It's so sticky. I hose my house like every few days because they go to the lantern outside my door, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like a phantom feeling all day long, like you never got
Yes.
rid of it, right? So what I provide, I think, is the guidance to have your own toolkit where you know how to clear the cobwebs. Like the minute you immerse yourself in a higher purpose and work that you love and being around people like Jill Nicolini, you feel good. I mean, it makes such a difference. What we want to talk about today, I think, what dropped in this morning was when we think of a coach, we think of, oh shit, ooh, can I
Yeah,
say that
yeah,
here?
you of course.
Um,
Shit. I said it too.
my F bombs and SHs, the New Yorker in me. But you think, oh shit, I got to set goals, and then this person's going to be nagging me and holding me accountable and whatever. And I want everybody to know I'm super impulsive, spontaneous. If I tried to plan every minute of every day and every goal ever in my life, I mean, I would rather pull my hair out one at a time, and I have a lot of hair. So, so I wanted to talk today about the idea that many people live thinking that they have a fate in life. Like, ugh, this was what I was preordained to live. This is the limit I have. In other words, we don't rise above our self-worth and our self-image. So wherever you think that is your ceiling, your self-created ceiling, I call it, it's almost, and I don't use this word a lot, impossible to break that without particular practices and a person who takes you through them. It's as if you tried to learn yoga or scuba diving by
Hmm.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
Scuba diving is a great example because you would die, right? They would never just hand you the tank and say, go have at it 50 feet under.
Hmm.
So if you think about it that way, it's like, oh, wait, there's nothing wrong with me.
Hey.
I'm not
Yeah.
supposed to level up all by myself. If I want to step into real empowerment and really live a life that I can imagine as really incredible, unbelievable, fantastic for myself, I have the capability to create that. And I'm just going to need some guides. I'm going to need a personal trainer or a
Yep.
personal coach to do that. So I thought today would be the perfect day to tell you that we're setting goals all wrong. Either we're
Mm.
not setting them at all. Hello, I raised my hand because I
Yep.
used to be that person. And let me tell you, Harvard studies have shown that the students who 30 years before, they followed people for 30 years,
Wow.
wrote down their goals and knew what they wanted, were making so much more money, were so much healthier and happier than the same year graduating students who didn't write it down and didn't do certain things, right? So there is a way to set our objectives, our big dreams, in a way that works. And I'm here to tell you just this week, Jill. Just this week, Joe and I achieved something a couple of days ago. My daughter's calling, but I'm going to have to
Oh,
pass because I'm on your podcast. I'll call her
you can
back.
pick it up and make sure she's okay. It's all
It
right.
would be a great conversation. During COVID, I'll take an aside. Alyssa is my daughter, same last name. She's a super duper influencer, fashion curator, model, company entrepreneur. She's amazing at 29 years old. And we had a
Wow.
show on Instagram together called Call Mom during the pandemic lockdown.
Oh my goodness.
So we would come
Well, you
live
guys would.
together and answer questions that people were having around anxiety, fear, uncertainty of the pandemic. So, because she'd say to people, you know what I do? I just call mom, call
Yeah.
mom. So anyhow, let's take your listeners through a process today. Like, let's do a coaching session because this is so much fun to do this way. I'm going to give you all 5 steps, right? And I really want you guys to write in, call in, get a hold of Jill, get a hold of PBN, however you can. Let us know that you did this, where you are in the process, and how it's working for you, because it's going to be like a freaking miracle. So
I love it.
brace yourself, buckle in for the ride today. First of all, my mantra around this work came from the work of people are familiar with The Secret.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So, yeah.
the
So they're
book,
not.
and then it's on Netflix now too, I heard.
Oh, is it? I didn't know it
Yeah,
was
they
on.
made it's like a movie, but it was the book, The Secret. Yes.
Yeah, it was the book and then the movie, and it was very popular. And then people got disenchanted because manifestation, which is really just creating things in your life, didn't work for a lot of people. And it's because in the movie and in the way it was all presented, there was a major, major step missing. So now they say that that step was like ancient, like from the old times, and it was hidden on purpose because it was so valuable. I know, this is cool stuff. So there is one of the producers, and he's one of my favorite people on the law of attraction and abundance and riches in your life of every kind,
Mm-hmm.
relationship riches, health riches. The kids used to say, Mommy, Daddy, are we rich because we would live in a nice neighborhood or a nice house or have fancy cars because Joe is in the car business? And we'd say, Oh, honey, we're rich in love,
Yes.
in health,
Aw.
right? And they'd say, No, no, that's not what I mean. And at the time, we were not in any way considered wealthy people, right? I wouldn't say today we're stealth wealth either. We're comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're living a lifestyle that suits us, and it's always getting better. If you could believe that every day, in every way, your life and you are getting better and better. And
Mm.
the only way you begin to believe that is to rewire your unconscious mind. The stuff that was programmed between 0 and 6 years old. The subconscious mind listens and learns fast. Think about all the things a child learns between 0 and 6.
Yep.
And behaviorally, that gets hardwired. And only 5% of your decision making every day is happening in your neocortex, the front of your brain, right? The conscious part. So the more you rewire and weed the old garden, the better things look. So every day, in every way, things for me are getting better and
Better
better.
and better.
Every
Mm-hmm.
day in every way, I am getting better and better. Not, oh, I'm getting old. Oh, I'm tired. Every day, in every way,
Mm-hmm.
I am getting better and better. Think
Mm.
about how that feels already. Just 3 times we've repeated it. So here's your 5 steps. We together, this is part of my VIP days. We're getting that page up.
Oh,
So
good, good, good.
yeah, everybody in the next, I would say in the next 20 days, maybe less, my VIP days will be up on MaritzaCoscarelli.com, and you can join me here near my home at a heavenly little place at the beach, and we will map out your roadmap to your true destiny and not what you think your life is fated to be. And part of what we'll do are these 5 steps. So
Okay.
these are valuable. The
Okay.
first one you're going to do is you're going to take 5 to 10 minutes and brainstorm in writing. You're going to have a notebook just for this, a journal just for this. You're going to write a list of everything you want to be, everything you want to do, and everything you want to have in the next 5 years max. So 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. A list. I want to be this way physically. I want to be living in this place. I want to be more loving, more lit up. I want to be patient. I want to be kind. I want to be a better listener.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to write everything that you can think of. I want to be. I want to do. I want to travel to Dubai. I would like to jump out of a perfectly good plane. I'm giving you mine right now. I want to
Yes.
skydive.
Awesome.
Okay. I want to do it with my daughter. She's already done it once. I haven't done it at all yet. Um, I would like to, what else would I like to do? I'd like to spend half the year max, probably in 5 years, in Tuscany. I'd like to have a second home
Oh.
I pretend that I look at Tuscany, even though I'm in Florida and there are no mountains, but I want to really do it. I envision it because I can picture our apartment there and at the water and looking at mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to do, right? What do you want to have? I want to have peace of mind. I've had designer purses. Sometimes I pick one up now and then.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for the moment, for instant gratification, but I want to feel really free to take off when I want to take off. I want to feel like I can give my loved ones and bestow upon them all the things they want. That my mom and dad don't have to be concerned at this age about anything any whim that they have. I can be the fairy godmother and kind of materialize it for them.
Wow.
So whatever that is for you, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to have? Have it be around your habits, your projects, your business, your career, your children, your partnerships, everything, right? Just jot it down. Don't filter yourself. It should only take 5 or 10 minutes. Then, step 2, for each goal, why? Why do I wish to have this particular thing? Now, what may happen is that you might scratch some right off your list. There's no real reason why, right? And you don't have to get too deep. Why do I want it? It would bring me joy.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I want it? Because I love that place in the world. Why do I want it? Because it would make my child so happy, right?
Yeah.
And any reason you can think of, because really your higher purpose is attached to the reason why you want the things you want. Very few people can answer that. You can ask people, if I gave you $1 million right now, why do you want it and what you would do with it? And only 2% of people will have an answer. That's why lottery winners go broke shortly. They have
Yeah.
no
They
idea
don't
why they
have
wanted the
any.
money and what to
Yep.
do with it. Yeah. So why? Step 3, this is fun. Cut out, you could do this digitally or on paper, but find images that portray what you want. I have that Tuscan home in an image that I see all the
I
time.
have this magazine here. This is the pool I want.
Oh
This is the
my
patio
God.
I
Cut
want.
it out right
I
now. Create a
I
big
should put it
poster
up on the
board
wall.
like you're in the 4th grade and stick everyone and everything you want to be, do, and have on there visually and
Mm-hmm.
keep it where you can see it. Now, vision boards are an old thing. You can make a mind movie. Last week we talked about go to mindmovies.com. Make a mind movie. It can have you in it. It can have stock photos in it. It can have videos in it and music. And it just needs to be a minute, minute and a half long. So create visuals for yourself, and then every day create those visuals in your mind's eye twice a day. See it. See your perfect day now. See your perfect day 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Step 4, we're already at 4. Every day, read your list of what you want to be, do, and have to yourself.
Okay.
And every day, envision in your mind's eye and look at your video and pictures of what you want to be, do, and have. Now, again, only 2% of people will do this. I used to run gyms and spas in luxury buildings. Less than 20% of the residents used all those amenities that were so gorgeous.
Wow.
Less than 20% of the people. Why do you think that our wealth in our country is 1 to 2%? We call them the 2% or the
Yeah.
1.5%. Because you just have to do the things. We know them, but we don't do them. Every day, read your list and see your visuals and picture your pictures. See your pictures of what you want. And then this is the one, this is the big secret. And it's so simple. It's not easy, but it's so simple. Do something now and each and every day and every moment that you think of it, and every day that gets you closer to one of the goals on your list. Actively take action and do something right away. Don't think about doing it. Don't scheduling doing it. You're doing it right now. You're
Yeah.
listening and you're sticking with us and you're going, oh my God, I have the power within me. And I'm speaking about you. You have the power within you to direct and change your life. And let me tell you, 2 days ago, when something magnificent took place in our life, people would have said that between 2020 and 2022, this would be impossible.
Yeah.
It is possible. I am possible. You are possible. I am so excited for what's to come for
Yeah.
you. And
Aw.
I really want to hear from you. This is the way that you set goals in a manner that they come to be in your real life. I told last week the Dancing with John Travolta story. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That was another
Yes.
where people would have said, oh my gosh, she's, pipe dreamer. She dreams with pie in the sky. But you know what? If you don't dream with pie in the sky, you'll end up lower than the curb.
Yeah.
But if you dream with pie in the sky, you might not reach every star, every planet, but you will at least touch your fingertip to one of the clouds. And it is a lot of fun up there. There is no reason to have a ceiling except that we created ourselves. There are no limitations, and it should be fun. Enjoy the process. Have a good time, because when you shift your thinking this way, you are now with the 1.5% of people who skew towards thinking positively even when they wake up in the cobwebs,
Yeah.
right? You have a habit built where you're like, wait a minute, I'm in the cobwebs right now, but I'm going to grab my hose and I'm going to clear the air so I can go on and make this a wonderful day for
Yeah.
my. It's nobody else's responsibility. Most of us don't do it because we don't want this kind of responsibility, but it's really joyful when you get there. So that was what I really had on my heart to share today. Jill, do you have any questions for me today?
Wow. I love this whole visualization thing. And I did read that book, The Secret, right? I used to, in my old apartment, have a vision board, right? And guess what? I'm thinking about it now. I wanted a nice home. I have a nice home, but I still never have half the other things that I put on that board. I want a nicer home. I want a husband. I want this. I want that. I stopped visioning. There's nothing around on the walls. I stopped.
And you know what? We
Life
all
gets
do
in the
that.
way.
We all
Yeah.
do that. Like we stop, and I always
Well,
say,
I
oh my
wanted my
gosh.
kids. Kids was most important. I had my first kid all by myself. So I made that happen physically with a sperm donor to have that, like, because I wanted a kid so bad. So that I made, that was a big goal. And then after that, now I have a kid. And it's like, oh, this is a lot. Then my mom got sick with cancer. She died a year after my son was born. So it was like, it was a lot. So I did make something big happen. Yes. And accomplish that. Right. But yeah, there's so much I want to do in life and want more out of. And never even thinking that I should be doing this stuff still. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad I reminded you, because the other thing that I find for myself, especially when I'm in a little bit of a funk, energetically, thought wise, action wise, is that we give ourselves permission every moment to begin again. When Alyssa was a little girl, she had this idea already about fashion and style and everything. It was her passion. And her uncle would call her from New Jersey. We were living in Florida and then Georgia. And he would say, hey, honey, are you having a good hair day or a bad hair day? Because her hair day determined how she felt. That was their
Mm-hmm.
language for how are you feeling today. And he'd say, you can change your hair at any moment. You can go in the bathroom and you can change your hair. You don't like the way it is, pull it back, pull it up, straighten it, curl it, do what you want. And if you think about life like that, we stop doing certain things, and everything we do or don't do has a consequence. And all we have to say is, you know what? I love you anyway. This is to yourself. Nobody can love you beyond how much you love yourself. I spent a lot of my life, when Jill said it wasn't always like this, I super sabotaged my own ballet dance career. And I had worked so hard for that, right? Because I didn't feel myself worthy of it. I didn't feel like I deserved it. And I didn't love myself enough. So no one else can love you more than you love yourself. So working on loving yourself is not narcissistic, it's
Mm-hmm.
necessary. It's absolutely necessary. And part of loving yourself, think about your child. If they mess up, you don't go, oh, you're terrible. You'll never mount to anything. I mean,
Yeah.
that used to be a way of parenting. It's certainly not the conscious parenting of today. Think about a best friend. What would you tell them? It's all right. Next time it'll be better. Try again. And it's the same with us. Begin again, and don't forget the crucial steps. There's 3 bonus things that are crucial in this. It's not only doing it, but it's taking an action daily that gets you closer to one of those things that you want to have, that you want to do, or that you want to be. I started planning an itinerary for a trip that we're not taking yet, but I know where I want to go and what order it should be on. And I did a little research on the internet. So I know we will go to Argentina and Patagonia. We will. It will happen.
Wow.
It was meant to happen before COVID and it didn't. Do I like get sad and just say, okay, it's not going to happen? No, I start to plan it again for whenever. Be open to serendipity.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3 bonus things are: take action towards it to get closer, enjoy the process, You know, sometimes we're like, oh, now she gave me steps and I have to do this thing. Listen, if that's your attitude, go for a run around the block first. Get your dopamine and your endorphins going, and then come back and you'll be like, oh, I get to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
So enjoy it. And finally, filled with gratitude. We have so much to be thankful for with things as they are. If you slept in a bed, if you put clean water and something in your tummy this morning or this afternoon, I eat my smoothie late in the day. I do intermittent fasting. So I had my smoothie at noon. So to me, that feels like my morning meal.
Yeah.
And if you do these things on a regular basis and treat yourself with love and are grateful for everything, Joe makes fun of me. If I call him in a funk, he goes, oh, honey, just pause and be grateful. I go, don't use my own shit on me.
Hey, that's mine. Yes.
But honestly, if you do all of it, your way of being attracts more goodness.
True.
Like, oh, she's so thankful for every little thing, so aware, right? That she should have more of that. And it just keeps being bestowed upon you, and you have more to give away that way. Really, ultimately, we want to be good to each other and we want to make the world better than it is for the future. You know, I think of you, you have these two beautiful young boys, and I have a grandniece who's 5 years old, six now, and my kids don't even have children yet. So what world do we want for them? The change we are affects the way the world changes.
Yeah.
And things will, there will always be negativity. Please don't watch the negative news too much. Inform yourself and move on. If something earth shattering is happening, believe me, you will know about it. But don't allow junk in, because then junk comes out. Make everything you put in all your senses be nourishing. Like diets. Diets don't work. It's a lifestyle.
Hmm.
Enjoy the things that you take in, knowing how good you're being to yourself, and your self-worth will keep rising. It's so fun. So much fun.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. I love it. And now someone, wants to work with you. Can we talk about the process, how it works, to have you by their side as a coach?
Oh my gosh. Well, we become soul sisters and brothers because I still work one to one with a lot of people. And I'm transitioning that to coursework and group work, which has tremendous amount of value too. But right now, what you do right now, if you're moved to do this, don't wait, because the inspiration will go to someone else. It will pass. You book a complimentary breakthrough call. Jill and I had an amazing podcast last week. If you haven't
Yeah.
heard it yet, go listen to it, because that was a breakthrough call in action and so wonderful. And I appreciate that so much, Jill. So the opportunity to speak to me one-to-one for 15 to 30 minutes is free of charge. And we will begin to decide what it is you really want and how you can get closer to that starting today. So you do that, go to calendar.maritzacoscarelli.com. It's on your screen, I'm sure. You can find it and book your free call. That's step one. You can choose to work with me for a month, 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And in a year's time, I can promise you this, it will be a life-changing experience every step of the way. I won't do it today, but in next week's episode, I'll share the story of when I got interested in coaching and when I hired my first coach. And you might be a little bit surprised about how that went, but I will tell you, it's been life-changing. So the other thing I want to bring up is, if you want simply to build your own business or take your side hustle to a full-time business, this is what I did in my life more than once. And I would love to be by your side as you do that and help you make your 5-year goal your 3-year, and your
Mhm.
3-year goal completed in one. So reach out. I love the people I work with. We love each other and we co-create magic together.
Beautiful. See,
Yeah.
I took this week, I actually made some time for myself by staying up till 3:30 in the morning one night. My kids went to bed, and I start rummaging through the piles that are in my house that I have to deplete, which is cluttering my head. So I stayed up till 3:30 until one of my boys woke up. But I got to unpack from my trip from Greece, which was July. We had Legoland in January in Hershey Park, and there's bags from those trips on the floor. I got the whole suitcase unpacked. That took hours, right? And to put the clothes away, and then the closet's a mess. Then there's still a few little piles in the hall, but I worked on that. Now it's a little bit of a, it's still a little. I still have a lot more to do. I have the room with all the clothes and all. I haven't gone there, but I did a little, and I feel so much better.
Every step counts, you know. You're
So
going to trip
much
up, you're going to take your
better.
time. Greatness and clarity and all that, Jill, I'm so happy for you, takes time. And you know what's interesting? It shows.
Yeah.
I knew the minute I saw you today, you're always beautiful, but the minute I saw you today, you were lit up. And I say to people, what lights you up? Go in that direction. Do more of that. Don't worry about the strategy of your
Yep.
business and all those things. Do what lights you up, and you will be surprised at what comes of that. I wanted to share these last few words if I have, how much time? I
Yeah,
don't have
you're good.
time. I
You're
have
fine.
seconds.
Go.
These are from my TEDx talk.
Tell
And
us.
I'm just going to read it to you because I don't have it committed to memory again yet. But I used to believe that hard work, pleasing others, and perfectly performing on demand determined my worth. I was wrong. Your worth is your birthright. It's utterly human to feel self doubt, insecurity in particular situations, and default to your old behavior. What can you do to prepare differently? The liberators to your self empowerment allow you to move forward freely, becoming who you choose to be while keeping your unique and true essence. That is moving forward. No one's trying to
Mhm.
change you or fix what's broken. And if you have a coach or a mentor or a parent or somebody near you all the time that's doing that, you lovingly need to make your distance and be in environments and around people that appreciate your unique brilliance and that encourage who you are becoming.
Oh, and that's the big problem, I think, with a lot of people who say, "Oh, I have a friend that's going to help me do this," or a friend or a family member, but they become super judgmental. It's right. And a lot of people have tried that and it turns disastrous. Sometimes, all the time, it's better to have a neutral party from the outside who's not involved because then, right? I'm sure you've heard that before, right? You've worked with people who said, "Oh, I had
Yes,
someone help me. It was a friend." And then it just turned south.
you need some objectivity,
That's the
right?
word.
In
Yep.
the person that's holding you through this and holding space for you, but also from yourself. Everything is way too close to us. It's like when you're cross-eyed, that
Yep.
looks
Hmm.
attractive because you're looking at something
Yes.
right under your nose, right? You need a little perspective, a little distance, and then you realize that it isn't easy, but it's super simple. The more you simplify the clutter, the more space you make for getting rid of the old and making space for all the goodness, all the new.
I love it. And that's what we're going to do. And we're starting, and I'm feeling good about it. So thank you for that. And ironically, I just got to mention one other thing. You mentioned Argentina. This is ironic. Never been to Argentina. But I'm so overwhelmed with, working and being and my children and living alone, and that I'm looking for another job, right? Besides this one, to make more income because I'm trying to manifest an au pair in my life. I want to get an au pair, but I can't afford it all. So I need another income. So there's a potential for another job coming. In the meantime, I started filling out a questionnaire for an au pair. And the woman called me right away. She met me years ago. I'm like, my application's not even done. She's like, I actually have someone who's been in two different homes so far. It didn't work out. It's not her fault. Trust me, you would love her. I met her one time at my friend's house. She arrived. One family, they didn't tell her that the child had a lot of behavioral issues and was hitting and fighting and biting a lot. Then she went to the next family and they were just mean to her. So now she's back with her first host family. They're letting her stay there till she finds another family, but they really had a good relationship, but it was too overwhelming for the au pair with the behavioral issues. So she's on a good term to them. She's like, I have someone who might be able. I'm like, I just started applying. This stuff takes weeks, and so I finally finished my application the other day. But before that, she put me in touch with this girl, Val, who's from Argentina, who told me her whole situation. We spoke for an hour. My kids got to FaceTime her, and I love her. And the truth is, I don't even have time to go back on the website to find someone else. And not that she has to choose me because she's interviewing other families. And I realize this is like a competition because like all the host families are trying to make the way they seem so
Make
like
your
their house
impression.
and
Yeah.
and I just don't have time for that. So I spoke. The Val just texted me from Argentina saying she's on vacation. She wants to talk to me again next week. So that's a good thing that she really might like me. And then the agency contacts me, wants to do an interview next week. So maybe this might be it. Like I might be able to get some time to myself by having someone do other things for me, for my children, which would be amazing. So that's why I think I look really good today. I'm like, I feel
Well,
like
you just
I'm
gave a perfect
emanating like
example. We went from the breakthrough call to what you just manifested. When you feel like things come out of the ether,
goosebumps.
they
Yeah.
do, but they kind of don't, because they come from the source of all things. In
Yeah.
other words,
What are the
everything
chances
already
there's someone already
exists.
here? Oh, and then just call or talk to her and we hit it off. And it doesn't mean it's going to work out, but like this stuff usually takes months. So maybe it's, yeah,
It's so
manifestation.
encouraging.
Yes.
It's so encouraging. Today, I think our listeners leave with the idea of do the things that help you feel good and that encourage you. Believe in the idea you have, right? And move forward with it. You took an action, you took a step, you started the application.
And no
Boom.
one gets a call when it's not complete, but the woman recognized me and knew me from a friend. And I'm like, oh, wow. So yeah. All
It's
right.
so
So thank you
cool.
for that. So
Fingers
thank you for
crossed.
that.
And if
Fingers
it's
crossed
not
for that.
her, yeah, if it's not her, it'll be somebody even better.
But yeah, exactly. Well, thank
I
you for
love
your
it.
time again.
Thank you.
You
Bye
have a
for
great
now.
day and looking
You
forward to
too.
meeting up with you soon. All right.
Yes, and see you
Thank
next
you.
week.
All
Take
right.
care. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, hon.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.